We are just about to drive to Oxford to pick up someone very, very special to join our little family. This is June. She is 6 months old and we drove 2 hours to go to Oxford today to pick her up from Blue Cross, and she is the most perfect, lovely, friendly baby in the whole wide world. She has had quite a challenging start because her first family was not very nice to her and didn't want her, so their neighbours took her in, who sadly could not look after her, so she ended up in the rescue centre, but she won everyone over because she was so lovely and friendly and always wants cuddles, and we thought she was the perfect member for our family. You might remember that we did used to have 2 other cats and we very sadly lost them, Bubbles, fairly recently, but we are all cat lovers and we decided as a family that we had a cat-shaped hole in our hearts and we were ready to open up our family again to add a new member. She did have a different name, but we decided that June really fits her, and today is the summer solstice, so she has a very summery name to remember when we got her. We were prepared for her to be very timid at first, for us not to have cuddles for a little bit while she gets used to us, but she has such a personality. She did a little lap of the living room and then she just got straight onto our laps. She has been giving kisses and making biscuits and cuddling and sleeping, and she is just so friendly. I've known cats that are 7, 8 years old and are not as friendly as she is at 6 months. And that's crazy because I was expecting after the start she'd had for her to not love people that much, but she really does seem to like us. She has a beautiful tabby domestic short hair. She has the most gorgeous yellowy green eyes and a little pink nose. I love her little pink nose and her little mittens. She's still a kitten, so she's quite small, but the vet says she is in perfect health. She did actually get neutered this week, so she's still recovering a little, but she does not seem to have let that stop her. She was still jumping around on the furniture and meowing and going over to everyone. You may know that we have a golden retriever named Mr. Murphy who we all adore, and he is a big cat lover. He never gets too much with them, but he likes their company, and we have noticed a change in him since we lost our other cats. So we're really hoping that him and June become best friends. They've had a tiny introduction because we have glass doors separating the kitchen and the living room, and Murphy seems interested. June also seemed quite interested, but she seemed more interested in just having loads of cuddles. We have had June for 5 days now, and I think we are all absolutely shocked at how fast she's settled in. Clearly, June knows that we're all readers, and I aim to raise her as a book influencer cat. And I know she's on board with this because where is she currently? She is in my bookshelf. To celebrate June's arrival, I wanted to share some of my favourite books that feature cats. Most people know that cats are my favourite animal, but I think it's more than just I think they're cute. They've been such a comforting presence in my life, and I think they are in a lot of other people's lives too, and that's why they make brilliant characters for stories. A lot of people think that cats are aloof, and they can be, but I also think they make such good companions, and they're so curious, and I love seeing the world through their eyes. So the first book I'm going to share with you is The Ghost Cat by Alex Howard. This copy is so special because it's not just signed by Alex, but also by Tabitha, his cat. This book is all about feline companionship. It follows a ghost cat called Grimalkin as he witnesses 120 years prowling around unseen. He unearths some mysteries to our existence and also some things about the passing of time. It's a really charming book, and I love Edinburgh, so I love the setting. A lot of heart has gone into this book. This next book is The Cat Who Came In From the Cold by Derek Longdon. Me and my nana both loved reading this one. It's very sweet, and now we have our own rescue cat. I think it hits even closer to home. It's based on the true story of Derek and his wife Eileen, Eileen as they find a cat out in the cold, much like June was, and they bring her into their home and into their hearts. It's quite a sweet, funny book. The kitten is called Thermal, and it is partly about her silly little food habits and her daily life, but it's also about the bond that she forms with Derek and the fact that they have these little philosophical conversations every day that become such an important part of their lives. It's a very charming book, and the author said he was actually a self-professed dog lover, but this cat managed to change his mind. The next one, by Suzuki Natsukawa, it is The Cat Who Saved Books. It has such a cute little cover with little bits of gold on it. A young man inherits his grandfather's bookshop and fears that he will have to close it down, but a certain mystical magical tabby appears, and it asks him to come along on these missions to save these books who have been mistreated and imprisoned. I don't do this very often, but apparently I've tabbed a quote, so we're going to see what it is. Books have tremendous power, but take care, it's the books that hold the power, not you. I think it's funny when I tab things or annotate things because I don't remember why that resonated with me so much, but I do like the quote. My final recommendation is She and Her Cat by Makoto Shinkai and Naruki Nagakawa. I also love the illustration on the back. This book explores the gentle magic of the everyday. It's set in Tokyo in a neighbourhood where cats weave their way through people's lives. They're always teaching lessons and encouraging us, and it's full of heartwarming wisdom. These are just a few recommendations of cat books that I really like, but there are so many out there. Definitely let me know in the comments if you have one that you love. As much as I've spent a lot of this week with June, I did also spend Monday in London with my friend Chloe, as Spotify invited us to a really exciting conversation with V.E Schwab about her new book, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. The tagline for this book is Toxic Lesbian Vampires. If you've been watching me for a long time, you'll know that I was devastated when the show First Kill on Netflix was cancelled after the first season. What you might not know is that V. Schwab actually wrote that story. It was a short story that she wrote at the beginning of her career that was picked up for a TV show, and I thought it was really, really good. So I was really excited to see her go back and revisit vampires. The event was such a pinch me moment because I actually got to ask a question all about this, and I'm going to include it for you because I absolutely loved her answer. You can tell when she does interviews, this woman is a writer.
So I absolutely loved First Kill.
Oh,
I wanted more of it.
Yeah.
Was this quite cathartic to get to revisit vampires in this way, because obviously the show hasn't continued?
Yeah, that was so I wrote a short story called First Kill, essentially about a lesbian vampire and a lesbian vampire hunter. Just like a classic, at odds. Romeo and Juliet, that's just Juliet and Juliet, right? And yeah, nothing about the show was cathartic. It was just like very stifling. Because also, your show is a team effort. And writing is an incredibly solitary pursuit. But also, when you're writing, you're God. You're not like the smallest god in a pantheon where everyone else gets a say. So it was cathartic for me to get to pursue a more grown-up version of First Kill and get to be like the god. And be like, no, actually, this is what it is. And this is what it is when you're not like hamstrung in any way by the parameters of a network or of a producer team or of a studio, any of that. Just because imagine everyone in this room being one voice in that room and all of them having equal weight. It's one of the reasons it's so hard for like cohesive projects to get made. Yeah, this was me taking back. I was like, I'm reclaiming my time here in this moment, in this space. Like, I also was like, it has to be gay from the top down, right? Everyone who touches this book, gay, right? Or at least like gay up. Like, it ends with me, right? It was extraordinarily cathartic. I also wanted to write about vampires forever. And I just kind of was like waiting for my story. I was waiting for my moment. And after Abbey LaRue, when I realized I still wanted to write an immortal tale, and I wanted to write immortality and rage instead of immortality and hope, I wanted a flip side of the coin. In part because everyone would read Abby and think I was Abby. But I'm Henry. I'm like this young, mortal, devastated young man who like just wants to matter in some way. And so I started asking myself, well, what does it look like if I was the main character? Because I'm not Abby, who am I? And it was like, oh, I'm Sabine. A serial killing vampire. A 500-year-old serial killing vampire is apparently who I wanted to be. But you know what? Be the change you want to see.
It was such a fun time. There were book cookies and there were themed drinks, and we all got a long-stemmed rose. I got to see Basayo and Cal, and we all sat together on the sofa at the front, and it was really cute. And I'm really glad that I could bring Chloe along because I knew that she would love this book and I knew that she would love the talk. I hope everyone has a lovely week. Goodbye from me and from June.